part 2 of Ruby programming, in part 3, sorry. In part 2 we're looking at creating classes and making instances of these classes. And so today what we're going to be looking at is like instant variables, class variables, constants and local variables, and accessing them, and the difference between a class variable and an instant variable. The difference is that when you make an instance of a class, you can make more than one instance, and every instance has a different copy of the instant variables. But with the class variable, each instance of that class has the same copy of the class variable. So if any one of those instances change the class variable, it's changed for all the programs. And so in that way you can pass data between different instances. And then there's constant variables, where the constant should stay the same, but in Ruby that is down to your own like maturity, that you've got the power to change a constant if you want to, but whether you would want to or not would be down to yourself. Whether it would be wise or not would be down to yourself. For example, what would happen if you changed pi and then you went to use pi for a calculation? It would totally mess up your calculations. So there's certain things you do not want to do, but you do have the power to do it. And then there's local variables. Local variables are only local to where they've been declared. So if it's been declared in a method, it's only local to that method. So a class variable will be declared within the class, and a class variable starts off with two @ signs. And then you've got the instance variable. It is declared by one @ sign. And a constant is capital letters. So variable is just local. It doesn't have anything. It doesn't. It's not constants. It's not any @ signs. There's no dollar signs. There's not all capitals. It's just lowercase normal words. I just noticed it didn't. Yeah. And so I'm going to give them values. I'm going to make them all integers. So that's going to be 1, oh, yeah, and this one is going to be 2, and this one is going to be 3, and this one is going to be 4. Okay, but I'm going to move the local variables to inside the char method. What I'm going to do is I'm going to print them to screen, and it says put S. So I've put the the instance class in the char method, and I've put puts var class and var instance and constant var and local in the method. So when I declare a method, it should print out 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so I've got to go to hello world and man is the name of the class. Hello man. Dot new, and I can just do dot char for the name of the method here. It's a little bit shorter. Save and type hello underscore world dot happy, and I've got 1, 3, 2, 4. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So constant should just be above. Save. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm going to create 3 instances of the same class, and then I'll make the char method so that we can pass 2 integers into it. Well, yeah, no, just 1 integer into it to change the instance variable, and then we'll add the instance variable to the class variable, and so the instance variable will not change from class to class, will not change each instance variable. The variable will be a different copy, but the class variable will not change. The class variable, I'm getting tongue-tied and mixed up here. The class variable will be each instance will add its number to the class variable, so it's going to multiply. So if we send 2 to the first object, the class variable is going to be 1 plus 2 is 3. So if we pass 4, it's going to add 4 to 3, and the class variable is going to become 7. And so if we add 3 to the next instance, it's going to get added to the class variable, and it's going to become 10. And so this is a way that the instance variables are separate copies of each instance, but the class variable, there is only 1 copy for all objects of that class. And so I'm going to try to just demonstrate that. So the first thing I'm going to do is pass in an integer to the method, and so this could be a string, it could be an integer, but because we're going to pass an integer, it's going to know this is an integer, and then we're going to say variable var instance is equal to val. Right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's see, var class is equal to class plus var instance. So each object is going to add the value onto far class, and it's going to increment each time we do that, and so that's what I hope to demonstrate. So now that we're passing an integer into the char method, we need to go to the object where we create the object and where we call char. We've not passed anything here, and so what we've got to do is we've got to pass in a value, and instead of creating an integer and then assigning a number to it, I'm just going to put an integer into it. So I'm going to put number 2 inside. So we're passing number 2 to this method, and then it becomes the instant variable, and then it gets added onto the class variable. So and then we're going to have to make another 2 instances of this object. And so I'm just going to cut and paste. And I'm going to assign 4 to this one and 3 to this one. And I think that's what I said before, that adds up to 10, I'm not really sure. And so we've got to save this part here, and save this part here. Right, so we've created 3 instances of this class, and so we've passed in 2, 4 and 3. So now we're going to run the program, and what we see here is that if a 2 was passed in, but 1 plus 2 is 3, so that's a class variable. And then here we've got 4, which is this one here. That's what we passed in for the second one. And so 4 and 3 is 7. And then we passed in 3, and it becomes 10. So what we're seeing here is that it's actually worked. What I'm just going to do, there's too many numbers here. I'm just going to print out the class variable and the instance variable. So I'm just going to comment this out, and so the class variable will be printed first and then the instant variable after. And so if I save, okay, right, the first one we passed in was 2, was 2, so 1 and 2 is 3. Then we passed in 4, then we passed in 4, so 3 and 4 is 7, and that's the 4 we passed in. Then we passed in 3, so 10, 3 and 7 is 10, and that's the 3 we passed in. So as you can see, it's working. Yeah. So we haven't used the local variable or the constant, but the local one is local to this method, and so you would just use it within this method for calculations. And the constant is that you can change it in Ruby if you want to. You've got that power to do it, but it could be unwise to do so. So you would keep it a constant value, and that would be the reason for declaring it as a constant. The class variable is like static. It doesn't change with the objects; it stays the same, and you can change it. So if you change it with one object, that change is changed for the other object. And so a good example for static is for a game. And so when you keep the score, different objects may change the score, and so So rather than them all having different scores, it's all the one score that all the objects have got. So that's one example for static. And so now we need to do the return a value, and so I'm going to take away all these put s to screen, string to screen, and we're going to use the return command. Let's type return, return, and we're going to return var class. Save, and then we go to, and then we go to hello world, and what we do is let's see, just any name equals right. So what's going to happen here is these functions are going to return that value to these variables, and then we're going to put sm to screen here, and so just the first one, just to show you return. Save. I forgot to put the two @ in front of the class variable. Yeah, it's a typo. So save. Hopefully this solves the question. Yep, so free. So that's good. So that's working. So we've entered free, and it's returned free via the return statement. No, we entered 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3, and that's why it's free, and we returned the class variable here, and so that was now free. And so what I'm going to do is make another instance and return that. We'll return another instance, and the best way to do this is just the same again. Save. Right, so 3 and 4 added to 3 is 7, so it's returned that as well. And to return the next one, save. Yep, 10. So that's a return statement. So we've passed in value, we've made value equal to instance variable, and each instance had passed a different value, and added it onto the class variable, and we returned the class variable, and you can see the difference. Okay, now to convert integer to a string and a string to an integer, I'm going to make an integer x equals 1, and if I do x dot class, enter, it will state which type of variable it is, if it's a string, integer. So enter. A fixed number means integer. That's the Ruby word for it. And so to change this to a string, you go x equals x dot to underscore s brackets. Right, so what you're doing here is you're converting the output to a string. S is for string, and then you're saying it equals this. So what you're doing is you're putting a string into x, and I'm going to put brackets backslash n so that it's got a new line character. So if I hit enter, and if I go x dot class, no, it's a string, and if I want to change a string into an integer, I go x equals x dot to I brackets again plus equals. I don't need that part because it's an integer. Hit enter, and I go x dot class is a fixed number again. So what x 2 string does, it outputs a string, the integer as a string, and so if I do x dot class, you see it's still a fixed num, and that's the reason why we've done x equals x dot to string, so that's the value would be put into it. So if we do this here, we'll just do the one x dot string. You can just do it the simple way, just put a string into it, and it's changed it from a string to a character, a fixed num to a string, and so. Just do it that way. But the interesting thing is, I'm going to make it into a string again. 3, 4, 5. X dot 2 string. So I've turned it back into a string again, and the string is 3, 4, 5. There's an interesting part where you can change the base. You can do it's like x dot to let's see, 16. So, and that's a base of 16. You can do it with a string. I can do x equals 3, 4, 5. No, it's a fixed number again. No, x equals. Yeah, it's a fixed number. I want to do. Yeah, I want to do a string. But I'm going to leave it at that. And so I will do like methods where you pass multiple values in. It doesn't matter if you pass one value or 3 or